This is my copy of Cracking the Code, which I've read more than once in trying to take in all of the scholarship that went into writing this book. For a long time, it seemed to me that the frightening aspects about the IRS had to do with, for one, jailing people who didn't pay their taxes. People also seemed to have a fear of being audited, of something being uncovered by the IRS for which the taxpayer would now owe back taxes and interest, and maybe even a penalty, even though they believed the amount they paid in pre-audit was the correct amount, according to formulas that the IRS itself publishes. So in reading Cracking the Code, I realized that the tax return is actually testimony you willingly give the government about what you should pay in taxes. You sign that return under penalty of perjury, which I suppose that legally, whether you really owe that amount or perhaps you owed a lesser amount, that matters not, because the IRS now has a document in which you are swearing you owe this amount in taxes to the government. And the IRS will make sure that amount is collected from you, either by lump sum, by making installment payments with interest, or putting a lien against your property. And those people who believed paying any taxes to the government was unconstitutional and refused to send in a tax return, well, they could be jailed and have been jailed because the IRS had documents from other people whose business the constitutionalist, will call him, relied on for their own income, claiming that the freedom-loving constitutionalist made a certain amount of income and therefore owed a percentage of that income to the government. This all seemed like tyrannical to some people. To others, they felt this is the way it is. The only certainties are death and taxes. So Cracking the Code is a really good guide to the rules written in the Internal Revenue Code, which apply to all of us. It's a clarification of things most people take for granted. For instance, I work in the legal industry, and one of the things I noticed is that in contracts, for instance, I would see certain words that were capitalized in the contract for apparently no reason. I later learned that those words had special, distinct meanings or definitions that were unlike the standard dictionary definition that most people took those words to mean. And the Internal Revenue Code is, after all, a legal document that applies to people's livelihoods. Mr. Pete Hendrickson says in his book and elsewhere that the truth is liberating, and the truth about taxation in America is fascinating. So if you don't want to be swept up by the false narrative running around as the truth in the public perception, it's important to seek out the truth and share it with as many people as possible. That well-worn adage, the truth will set you free, will apply to anyone with the intellectual curiosity and the discipline to understand what Mr. Hendrickson lays out in Cracking the Code. It's the truth that the authorities are so willing to cover up and smear because it doesn't benefit their cause, it benefits yours.